Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to A House of Many Doors. We have a lot of travel ahead of us today, so let's get started. I mean, not before exploring Chaga again, because why wouldn't we? After several hours of searching, Eddie Harrison finds something. A book carved from toadstool fiber. It pulsates gently. Okay. I mean, I guess take it on board. Okay. We have already interacted with our pets, so I guess all that's left is to head north and then loop around, right? That was the plan. So how's my upper crew doing? Not so good. Not so good, actually, is the answer to that question. Man, it would be really cool if they would ever recover from their injuries. It doesn't seem like there's a thing that we are supposed to do to heal them faster, right? I don't think we've ever seen an option at town to be like, send your dumb crew to the doctor. Should probably step west one tile at some point here. So I guess we're just waiting, but man, it sure feels like people take injury and then just never ever get better. Until the game tells you that they are now unwounded, by which it means actually stone dead. And we're going all the way out of our way here to just hang out in a garbage dump for a while. Which hopefully is going to be worth it. Okay. These guys are not actually hunting me. Ooh, hell yeah, compare maps. Carnage and Rust. A pair of crossed swords are marked on their map. Here, have my blinding hooch. And then also, are you selling anything? No, that's cool. Carnage and Rust. Where is that? Are you Carnage and Rust? You are Gravespite. Oh. Okay, well, we have been all around that thing. So, one of two things is happening with the new locations. Either the locations that people can tell you about are just like super random, or we're really filling in the map, because it seemed to me previously that when you have interactions with people, they tend to tell you about stuff that's nearby. So maybe there just isn't anything else nearby, but maybe that wasn't true. Who knows? Alright, let's scavenge. Oh god. You order your crew to pick through endless mounds of discarded things. Bottles, plastics, leaking barrels. They clip pegs over their noses and heave it all aside in search of trash-buried treasure. And suddenly the junk collapses into a sinkhole, taking Abimelech Hedge down with it. His screams are hideous, accompanied by the sound of snapping bone and chewed gristle. Then an enormous worm emerges from the pit, pink and fat and longer than your kinetipede, its curiously human teeth glistening red. I will... Attempting to capture the worm could probably just get people injured even more. We need a zoological specimen, according to my log, for the Cromlech quest, but this could be a zoological specimen. I was going to say this seems more to me like a dangerous beast, which is a different kind of thing. Just blow it up. I don't want to risk it. Your missiles streak through the air. The worm thrashes and dies with an ungodly screech, and you order it collected. I think that's probably for the best. And then let's interact with a pet. Sweet, troublesome pup. And I guess just get the heck out of here. Okay. West. Yeah, I'd feel a lot better about taking on dangerous stuff if it wasn't the case that like half of our crew is almost completely out of health. Alright, so we have quite a bit of west to do here. We need to go south 3 times? Aha, it looks... Yep, okay, this whole area is Oddwinter. Excellent. You find Augustus fiddling with the Kinetipede's radio. A hissing message on the waves. Come in! Come in! SOS! This is Sergeant Julian Rummeld. I repeat, Sergeant Julian stranded, out of fuel, and we shelter in the ruins of Arozim. Okay, I can make it to Arozim. Cold is killing us. We have a child with us. Okay, that seems very... This seems like a very solvable problem. The voice falters and dies. For a moment, Augustus's face almost changes expression. Sergeant Rummeld was just a private when I knew him. Oh, you just happened to know that guy. We fought together in the Reclamation. I formally request that we make our way to Erozim post-haste. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, we were already headed there, right? A commendable decision, says Augustus, calmly taking the wheel and flicking levers across the control panel. We shall strike a course to Erozim. Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely where we were already going. Yeah, so... South 4, actually diagonal, yeah, we'll go west and then diagonal from there. Should be fine. And we will carefully avoid terrifying ice sculptures while we are doing it. I do really like this area with the tinkling piano music and the snow. Boy, that's a big, whatever that is. Rock, I guess? That's a mighty big rock. A strange apathy has consumed your crew. Well, better apathy than some kind of giant worm with human teeth. So probably best we do it like this. It is a hell of a coincidence, though, that we just managed, just happened to pick up an SOS from a person that our new pilot already has a pre-existing relationship with. Signal Station Null is nearby. Interesting. I want to interact with this thing, please. Thank you. Alright, a little bit of paraphernalia. Signal Station Null. Boy, that is not what nearby means to me. Okay, so that suggests that probably the information we get from trading maps with people is random, because if they were just telling us about things that were nearby, then obviously they would have told us about this. Okay, we'll check that out after we hit Erozim. No sense veering off now. I do think that that note we just got, the one about someone building a snowman on the roof, is one of the quietly creepiest notes that we've seen, except for the ones that we get when we're smiling, of course. Alright, so let's try to find Sergeant Julian Rummeld and hope that nobody dies in the process. The wind hits you like a sheet of needles. You and Augustus stagger through the blizzard, the world a swirling white, unable to see even a few yards ahead. So, okay, Augustus is an indistinct shape. You know what? Let's just spend the flare. It'll peel back the blizzard for a moment. Why risk the chance, right? For a bright moment, your flare lifts the white curtains that have descended on the city. In that instant, you see a kinetipede in the distance, half drowned in snow. Rushing over with Augustus, you heave open the frost-sealed door, and the kinetipede's interior is dark and silent, and somehow even colder than the blizzard outside. Yeah, I'll go first. The darkness swallows you eagerly, but at least you're out of that wind. Descending into the upturned kinetipede, you find nothing but corpses cracked and blackened by cold. Men in military uniforms who died huddled in a useless quest for warmth. There is no smell. The cold will keep them like this for decades, untouched by rot, frozen in solidarity. We should... I didn't want to send him in first. I thought that would be a real shitty thing for the commanding officer to do, but he also should be in here. I shouldn't just go alone. Down at the very bottom of the upturned kinetipede, you find one final gaunt corpse, its arms wrapped around a tiny white bundle. Suddenly, you realize that the bundle is shivering. Oh, this was Julian Rummeld, says Augustus behind you. And the girl, is she still alive? Yeah, we should definitely find out. She is silent, still, barely breathing, but alive. She weighs less than a bundle of twigs, and her skin is cold as ice. Wrapped in your warmest clothes, you and Augustus hurry her back to the kinetipede, where you take her straight to the warmth of the engine room. Augustus dribbles warm cocoa between her bright blue lips. After hours of attention, she regains consciousness, and stares straight at you with piercing blue eyes. Hey there, what's your name? Waif, she says. She grabs your hand and shakes it gravely. Nice to meet you. Who would name you Waif? Okay. How'd you end up in Erozim? I was walking home from school, she says. The sun was out. It was too hot. I crossed the street from the sunny side to shadow, and everything went dark. Suddenly, I was lost in the snow. Augustus glances at you significantly. She's a visitant, he says. The house brought her here from another world. We haven't actually heard a lot of stories of people arriving in the house. It's probably pretty significant that she didn't do anything to end up here. She didn't, like, attempt an occult ritual. She wasn't even, like, investigating some weird thing that happened to her. It's just, she was walking home from school and then bam. Do you have parents? That's a profoundly stupid question. I'm afraid Sergeant Rummel didn't make it. How did you know him? Mr. Rummel came by in his funny leg train and rescued me, she says. He told me I was in a house, but it's too big to be a house, and there's snow. What was Mr. Rummel doing up here? Asks Augustus gently. How did he end up in Erzim? Did he tell you? But the girl just bursts into tears. Augustus straightens. I will take responsibility for her, SB. I feel I owe it to old Rubby. Okay. We must discuss what is to be done with her, he adds. A Kenetopede is no place for a child. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, the house is no place for a child, frankly. Well, while we're here, let's explore. There was a pilgrimage to the hospitals and the schools when the snow first hit. You walk amongst skeletal masses, huddled for warmth in a collapsed gymnasium. There must be thousands of them here. Was Arzim truly so large a city? First of all, gross. Secondly, we really don't need more bones on the ship. Respect the dead. They're together, at least. And then cuddle a rhinoceros, right? And I guess we have the option of chatting with Waif, so I guess let's do that. Or not. Wait. Does Waif... Damn, that scroll is so sensitive. Did I lose my option to chat with Waif? Because is she considered a pet? Is the game considering her to be my pet? That feels a little not awesome. That's pretty... Okay. We got something going, though. So I guess northwest, right? My guess is we're not going to find much of value out here. Augustus wants to talk to you about Waif. Yes, I think that's a good idea. We need to decide what we're going to do with Waif, says Augustus. This is not a safe environment for a child. Yeah, where would she be safe, do you reckon? Waif is a visitant, he says, and for just an instant he looks haggard. She came from another world. Our civic duty is to turn her into Kennedy Yard for questioning. Perhaps in time she'll be released and allowed to live a normal life as a citizen. Nope, absolutely not. No universe in which we are doing that. What does questioning a Kennedy Yard involve, anyway? Augustus coughs and doesn't meet your eyes. Well, I've heard rumors during my military career, he says. Drugs, mind games, repeated memory theft. Well, but I don't believe a word of it, of course. No, we're not gonna do that. Well, Augustus's mustache quivers. Muscles tighten at the corner of his mouth. We did technically discover her outside of the city's jurisdiction, did we not? I'm sure Kennedy Yard would rather not be troubled. But still, she can't stay here. Where can she go? Ah, boy. We could probably pass the check to convince Augustus to stay, or convince Augustus to let her stay on. But, like, do we want to do that? We could take her to Ghoul Watch? Yeesh. There are those in the City of Keys who will hide visitants from the governor's men. Requires a radical pamphlet or 1+ radical sympathies. I think the City of Keys is a good spot for her. She needs to be protected. We'll hold off on this decision for right now. Which unfortunately is going to mean that stays lit up. We could develop some radical sympathies. I think that the way I tend to play characters tends them toward doing so in the first place, so... So we need to go up 2 more, and then west quite a bit. And somehow, now that I've said that, I'm going to fail to count to 2 correctly. It does seem like there are fewer enemies out here. Never mind. That is... No, they are hunting us. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, if they're just traveling, we should definitely stop and talk to them, because that seems really interesting. But, no, those guys definitely wanted to talk to us. Just a little bit too badly. More books. Always more books. Except, never actually books. I'm hoping to have experiences. I don't really want to take any more books on board. Train managing to crash into itself, which is really quite incredible. We don't actually know where the western barrier of the house is, do we? We have an idea of the north, and we've seen the east and south barriers. A haphazard tower of revolving metal dishes and antennae, swaying and creaking in the blizzard. As your kinetipede pulls up outside, a heavy-coated, heavy-booted, heavy-set figure rushes out to meet you. Oh, I'm surprised to see people living here. Visitors, please, quick, come in, come in. We have cocoa and hot baths and television. But of course, you don't know about television yet, do you? Oh, you simply must come in. Huh. You walk into the atrium, stamping snow from your boots. It's still chilly, even in here, but the heavy-set man is already struggling out of his coat. It's rare to meet a fellow citizen of Keys out here. There's frost in his graying red hair. I'm a governor's man. There are still a few of us out here, you see, even after the funding was cut. Care to look around? What do you do out here exactly? The best job in the world. Or at least it would be if we still had funding. And, if we weren't stuck out here. Let me show you what I mean. It does kind of sound like he just said it's the best job in the world except for all of the qualities that the job has. If they were going to steal all my memories, they wouldn't admit to it. This doesn't seem like a useful thing to say. Who are you? Well, I had my memories confiscated when I first joined the service. The first thing I remember is them waking me up and telling me I was now Agent Paisley, and that I'd be a faithful servant to the governor until I die. It was quite a morning. Okay, show me around. Go ahead, let's take the tour. A few other governor's men are wandering about purposelessly. One waves and shouts, "Hi, Paisley," as she skitters past in a rusting scuttle chair. But for the most part, the colossal building is as empty and silent as a ghoul's tomb. Your footsteps echo. We had a huge team out here once. Most were transferred out years ago. He shows you the various facilities. The laboratory, the armory, the kitchen, the steam-powered hot baths. You note the damp stains and broken panels and rust. Finally, with the barely contained grin of a man who has been saving the best until last, he shows you into a huge hall of blinking lights and dials, and strange machinery, and dozens of black glass screens. What am I looking at here? This doesn't look like any technology you've seen in the cities. Well, we built this place to try to contact other worlds. It uses tech that's classified outside Kennedy Yard, which is why we were stationed all the way out here. And it didn't work, of course. Nothing can escape the house, not even messages. But we realized that some other worlds were sending out signals of their own. We couldn't reply, but we could receive. And we learned more about otherworld culture in 20 years than Kennedy Yard managed in 2 centuries of interrogation. Yeah, it's weird how, when you let people talk, you learn things. Paisley smiles bitterly. But it's expensive to run, and we were learning mostly about culture rather than occultism or technology or weapons. So the bean counters decided we weren't a good investment. Listen, a lot of cultures are very much about technology and weapons. So, how does it work exactly? Oh, don't ask me. We have occultists and engineers who worry about that. What kind of messages are you receiving? Oh, keep watching, friend. He fiddles with some dials, and one of the larger screens bursts into life. It appears to be showing a hissing, buzzing, moving image of the blizzard outside. Oh, hang on, just need to catch a signal. Aha! The blizzard resolves into a fuzzy image. A dead-eyed man sits on a wooden chair, alone in the center of a stone cell. His mouth is an open, bleeding wound. He is screaming. It's usually more entertaining than this. He goes back to fiddling with the dial. The screaming, bleeding man is enveloped in a blizzard again for a while. When it lifts, he is nowhere to be seen, and the screen shows a group of young men making jokes in a restaurant. An unseen audience laughs at every punchline. There we go. Television, it's called. Moving images beamed from thousands of worlds, filtering down here. He hits a button and the screen turns black again. We used to watch it all the time, but it's expensive to run and, our budget's not what it used to be. I'll let you watch a bit more next time you visit. You will visit, won't you? This is an interesting, describing it appears to be showing a hissing, buzzing, moving image of the blizzard outside and then the blizzard descending on the man. That's kind of a neat way of describing the idea of television static from the perspective of a character who's never encountered a television before. Agent Paisley makes you some cocoa and sends you on your way. He also very seriously asks you not to tell any other governor's men about this. Yeah, that's fine. I don't spend a lot of time talking to other governor's men. Let's chat with Waif. Spending time with Waif can restore you... Yes, mechanically speaking, she is a pet. That's a little messed up. Waif is always unpredictable in most respects. One minute she is dancing, the next crying with fright. But she can be relied upon to ask questions. You answer as best you can. Why is the house so big? What does it look like from the outside? When can I see Mummy again? Oh, that question saps my sanity a little bit. I don't suppose they sell anything here. Okay, well, this was interesting. Probably not terribly useful, but certainly interesting. Alright, back on to the Cathedral of Stolen Gods. So, east 3 times, and this is totally the first one. Slowly I learn. I was going to just take it diagonal, but I guess we're not in any big hurry to move south. I do not want to collide with whatever that is while our crew is still injured. Also, obsessively checking health doesn't actually seem to be making them heal any. Surprisingly. Turns out a watched pot never mends. And I have definitely already forgotten. Oh, Icicle Spine is nearby. Okay, well, never mind what we were doing. Now we're doing that. North and then east a bunch. It really is densely packed up here, huh? The Odd Winter Intrusion is nearby. Huh. Alright, let's do Icicle Spine first. We're pretty close to it. I wonder why our navigator is all of a sudden so good at the job. Welcome aboard, new junior engineer. I guess that tells us what the job of that person who got eaten by the worm was. It turns out anybody can be a junior engineer. You really don't need to have any training or knowledge of any kind. Looks like a giant frozen mushroom. A Mycenae shelf village where the mushroom people move ponderously, their limbs heavy with frost. They speak slowly, too, in patient drawls, but friendly enough. Yeah, let's gather news. As you listen to a Mycena very slowly elaborate its life story, you realize this is going to take literally all day. The village elder froze stiff again and had to be warmed up for hours by the fire. The snow has brought strange things with it, twisted shapes which fly like bats. Cold and boredom battle within you. That's a pretty... Well, I was going to say that's a pretty interesting story, but I guess it did take an entire day to tell. Let's just walk the spine. The Mycenae wave glacially as you pass. The Mycenae notice you shivering. They take you into one of their mushroom roundhouses, lit by a roaring central fire, and hand you a warm cup of leafy mud. Oh, good. Very slowly, they tell you that the big freeze came in almost 200 years ago, when the Odd Winter Intrusion smashed through the wall of the house, and brought an eternal flurry of snow with it. Erozim, the biggest city in the area, froze and died, but the Mycenae adapted. By the time they've finished the relatively uncomplicated story, though, your mud is cold. The fire is extinguished, many hours have passed. The cold does something drastic to slow down the Mycenae metabolism. So we lost sanity for that. You've tarried far too long. Your fingertips are black with frostbite. That seems fairly serious. Let us preach the word of Anglecrab. You silently build a manifold inversion of a shape out of sticks and glue. The Mycenae gather around, their movements so slow that sometimes they seem still. You start to run out of things to say, but you're encouraged by the size of your audience. Then the first Mycena raises its hand and asks you, in a glacial drawl, to clarify your god's stance on a minor point of historical theology. You answer as best you can, but your response only causes another forest of hands to rise. And just like that, you find yourself in the world's slowest debate. One horrifying ordeal. The debate shows no signs of stopping. You can't get out of here fast enough. That's true. A debate is truly a terrifying waste of everyone's time. Alright, to the west. So do we need to adjust height here? Yeah, we need to go south once. Squeaky coughing fills the kinetipede. Waif has got hold of Augustus's cigars again. Why did he bring cigars on board? I'm just saying, I don't want him smoking in here. First of all, oh yeah, that's fair. First of all, smoking, obviously, quite bad for you. Secondly, the kinetipede is pretty closed. It's a pretty small space, man. We all gotta deal with that. I guess we could put his ass on the roof when he wants to smoke. Then he can be on snowman patrol, because I definitely would have assigned someone to the roof to watch out for people building rogue snowmen. A strange apathy. Again. At some point it ceases to be strange. That perfectly normal apathy has consumed the crew again. Interesting. Aw, just when it seemed like the music was getting really interesting. Back to normal we go. Okay, I guess if I had found a book, I would have had to just throw something out anyway. I mean, it would have been bones, right? We would have thrown out more old bones. Are you guys? Yes, you guys are after me. Well, bad news. I'm incredibly fast. Just unbelievably so. It does seem like legs would break down all the time, right? Like, this is a very complicated method of locomotion they've decided on. Your crew are tossing snowballs with gleeful abandon. Okay, well, that's nice. It's good that people are managing to pass the time somehow. Boy, that's a weird-looking tree. Oh, it's a tree with a rock, not actually on top of it, but, like, just behind it. It's just weirdly positioned. Alright, enter the cottage. Oh good, occultist paraphernalia. Well, I think I would still rather get rid of old bones. Now, occultist paraphernalia actually causes us problems, though. Did we... Yeah, okay, here we go. Alright, let's check out this new location. The Odd Winter Intrusions. This is the source of all the cold. A spike of ice hundreds of miles long has slammed through the wall of this room and buried the floor in rubble. Through the hole you can see only darkness and whirling snow. Blue-skinned figures, each as tall as a church, wade through the snowdrifts and clamber over the cliffs of ice. Most are wearing black suits and white ties, and some are carrying clipboards. That's very strange. Let's just gather some news from an officious ice giant. A meeting was held to decide which client to summon next, but nothing came of it. Oddwinter has warned low-level employees that there will be no backdated leave available when they return to the homeworld. Wait, can they just go back? Do they know how to do that? The ice giant sees his supervisor approaching and hurries away. Yeah, I need to... Oh, Oddwinter's a guy. I need to gain entrance to the intrusion, please. As you approach, a section of wall in the ice spike slides aside. A creak, a hiss of compressed air. You walk through into the reception, which somehow contrives to be even colder than the air outside. The walls are bedecked in inspirational posters. The blue-skinned, white-haired receptionist, who is approximately 12 feet tall and throbbing with muscle, Gross, looks up from his book. His scowl melts instantly into a smile. Ah, a human. Are you here about the job posting? Yes. Well, go up ahead. The ice giant clicks a button behind his desk and the door slides open in the ice nearby. The CEO is on the 98th floor. Mind your manners. He ate the last intern who forgot to bow. Okay, that's a good thank you for telling me that. You enter and press the button marked 98. The ice door groans shut. The elevator rumbles for a time, then reaches its destination with a merry ding. When you step outside, you find yourself teetering on the edge of a pit at least a mile deep. And looming up through the pit, shaggy, white-haired head almost scraping the ceiling, his wide belly scraping against the walls. Oddwinter himself, the CEO, an ice titan so colossal he could lift your Kinetipede between his fingers and pop you like a blister. You're standing directly at his eye level. His eyes are as big as swimming pools. Ah, a human! Oddwinter's voice is a peal of thunder, the collapse of a mountainside. Glad marketing finally justified their budget. When can you begin? Ooh, boy. He ate the last guy who didn't... I'm gonna continue bullshitting. Well, I could begin immediately, obviously. You're sure you can work this out from context eventually? You have identified 4 locations, though you need only survey 3. The buried city beneath Carapace, the crashed vessel in Founder's Fire, the maze in Phobator Quinn, and the oil platform in Panachak. Go, delve, record what you find. You will be rewarded. The CEO pauses. Ice forms across his face, and cracks and reforms. Just tell us what you find. Let us worry about retrieving the secret, if you find it. Take it for yourself, and there will be consequences for your entire species. Complete 3 delving missions and bring the journals... Okay. We already have 2, right? My lawyer will speak to you now, booms the CEO. I must return to sleep. His voice dies away, his huge eyes close. A lawyer appears at your shoulder. 20 feet tall, emaciated, her mouth a mournful skull draped in paper-thin azure skin. Her face a mournful skull. It'd be weird if her mouth was a whole extra skull. Let us go to my office and leave the CEO to his nap time, she says in a voice like honey. I will need you to sign an 870-page contract, a non-disclosure agreement about the non-disclosure agreement, and a liability release form. You head back into the elevator, down to the 60th floor, where a mountain of paperwork awaits. Again, the phrase horrifying ordeal being used in a very loose sort of way this episode. She makes sure you read every page. You should already be doing that. Well, that was interesting. So we are, I think, only 1 journal short of doing that. Let's cuddle a rhinoceros. He does make the nightmares recede, doesn't he? The secret. He said if you find the secret and try to make off with it yourself, your entire species will pay. I'm very curious exactly what it is he's looking for. And also very curious about the fact that it seems like maybe they know how to get back out? I don't know if you guys had noticed, but I have strong feelings about get back out. Here, we're going to veer off a little bit so as not to have to interact with that thing. I am kind of curious where the western boundary of the house is, too. Maybe we'll just push west for a minute. I guess I had just assumed it wouldn't be too far past the start of the snow. Because, like, you know, you reach an area in a video game where it's snowing heavily, that's the designers telling you to go back. Hey, that jump scared me now. I finally got used to the bats, and now I just have to be afraid of our own train suddenly looping back on itself for no reason. Boy, that's a big hole there, huh? I think our Kinetipede is 4 train cars long, and I think only a little bit longer than the long side of that rectangular hole. Interesting. Still snowy, no longer snowing. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go for the well. Huh. Well, we found the lock. No snow up here, huh? That's pretty weird. Wait a minute, wasn't this room... Well, that's awfully curious. Alright, we're totally gonna go to the cathedral. I'm gonna just go south for a moment, though. We'll get in the row with the cathedral, and then we'll turn. Hey, you guys, do you have anything fun? Nope. I'm not imagining things, right? It was snowy, and then we left the room to the north, and then we turned around and came back, and it wasn't snowy anymore? This place does make you doubt yourself. Oh, you know what? If you don't want to talk to me, I will never accept that people don't want to talk to me. It must be some kind of trick. Share news from the city. They give us 3 apprehensions. Not so great. I mean, not that I don't like apprehensions, obviously. Oh, those guys also have no interest in us. I can't imagine anything more suspicious. Anything for sale? Godsmoke and Necrosia. You know what? I don't need them. Really just hoping for more map data. Okay, so this whole wall is locked. Let's go south one more time and then turn east. Does seem like the people out here really have no interest in messing with me. Drifting. Empty. Utter silence. Alright, we're gonna search it. It does seem dangerous, but... No sign of a struggle. Nothing broken except the heartlight. Darkness is rushed in and churns in the lower levels. Okay, so we got a box of bitter memories. We need to drop some old bones. And I should probably drop some occultist paraphernalia, honestly. Let's just throw it all away. Stuff is more trouble than it's worth. Although I guess that's not that hard, considering that it's not. It's really not worth very much. Oh, interesting. Blue door. It has not created an indication on our map. Another locked door. Something draws you to this one. Now have we created an indication? No. But it does still... We do still have the indication on the other side, right? Yeah. Very curious. You know what? Let's actually go south one time. I'm curious if it'll be the case that there's more blue door below this. If it'll be a whole blue wall. No, it is not. Man, it seems like you sure could go through a lot of keys if you really wanted to. Alright, how's my crew doing? Everybody is exactly the same, 100% identical. Okay, now we're just going east, right? I think I corrected. Okay, it did mark the room, it just didn't create a big wall of marks like it did on the other side. Well, that's very interesting. You know, I just kind of assumed that if we found a key, it would be a single-use item, because, you know, video games. The archetype for all video game interactions is however the thing works in Zelda. That's how it's going to work everywhere. But maybe if you find a key, it's just like a skeleton key that opens whatever doors you want. So I'm just thinking, for at this point, for us to still have not found a key, suggests that they're quite rare. But that makes a little bit more sense if you only need one in total, right? I mean, did Clockface tell us that we were going to need 2 keys to get through the 2 doors in the south part of the house? Maybe that's where I got the idea that we would need multiples. Well, hopefully we start finding them soon. An ancient grimoire. Yeah, alright, fine. I guess we'll not immediately throw it into the engine. Are we close? Not really. It's actually just a very long drive. We do need to figure out a way to take care of the crew, though. I mean, it sure seems like I must not be doing whatever the thing is that gets people healed. Only a tiny jump scare. Just a little baby one. Alright, I think we're finally almost back to civilization. Well, for a certain value of civilization. It's certainly no city of keys. Alright, head inside. We may as well go and chat with the Omnipope, right? Went well last time. Do I want a blessing or a story? We asked for a story last time, right? I'm gonna ask for a blessing. With a rumbling sigh, the Omnipope leans forward and draws a vague symbol in the air above your head. May your enemies die in a fire, he says. May your false gods see the light and join our swollen pantheon. So we gained some reproach. Yeah, this was not so good. We got a lot of sanity, but none of the gods liked that. The Omnipope sinks back into his cushions, calling for wine. You are obviously dismissed. We did gain a fair amount of sanity. But now we're not able to we're not able to propitiate cobblestone anymore. Well, if we smash another bizarre effigy, it'll fix that, right? Yeah, okay. Not that I have the materials for this anyway. On reflection, I'm not sure why that matters to me. Since I know we can't do anything with it anyway. Let's see, we've been to the Kelp Fortress already, so I guess down to Gravespite? Right, we just came through the Kelp Fortress. Yeah, Gravespite. So over 4-ish? We'll just stick to the diagonal for a little while, see how it works out. And it may well be worth buying fuel, if we can. Somewhere along the way. And Gravespite's a real town, right? No, I'm thinking of Ghoulwatch, I think. Going to obsessively continue checking the health of our crew. I really want to be able to spend some apprehensions. I guess at this point we must have so many. Yeah, 451. Even though I do really want to spend some on Cromlech, we should probably spend some on other people as well. You know what? I'm gonna give some to Augustus because guile is important. It's important to lie. It's important to be good at lying. Where are we going? Why do we want to do that? How will that help us? You'd have thought a military man would be used to unquestioningly following orders, but Augustus interrogates you to within an inch of your life. He doesn't object to any of your plans, but he always has a suggestion. Finally, he sits back, satisfied. Thank you for keeping me updated, Captain. Okay, well, let's keep doing that for a little while. So what, we were at 40... This should be 50? Oh, we were... Okay. Maybe we were at 45? We don't really want to push grit all that badly. You know, I wouldn't mind some vigilance. So that's 4 more. That leaves us at 241 apprehensions. You know what? Okay, and then... That's not a round number. I'm going to push our Esoterica a little bit more, too. I know it's already in a pretty good place, and we don't really fail Esoterica checks anymore, but we have seen at least one that was still red, even with that value. And then... Where are we at now? 91 remaining? I'm going to hold off for Cromlech. But definitely better to spend, not to be carrying around quite that many. Oh, hey, these guys don't want to fight me. That's good. I think it was going to be a pain to get this well if they were interested in conflict. Alright, glimpse of another world. I have already forgotten where we are relative to the place we're going. Okay, it looks like we need to go east one more time. So I'm trying to think, what have we heard of Gravespite? We've definitely heard about it. This one is not a total surprise like Carnage and Rust. Which basically just sounds like a literal description of Silent Hill. You know, I would not at all be surprised to find that the House of Many Doors had sucked up a piece of Silent Hill. I think that actually makes a tremendous amount of sense. To be perfectly honest, I could see there being just a just a kind of an open doorway between the two. Things pass one way and the other all the time. Got a slight change in the decor. At least a change in the hue of the darkness. I think this is just back to what the house normally looks like. Are these guys chasing? Yes, they are. Oh, very dramatic. That's right. We're in the spooky undead area. Well, we should definitely take that. And immediately throw it in the engine, I think. Oh, did I have a bunch of lumber? I did have a bunch of lumber. Aw, I didn't want to interact with you guys. Flee. I successfully flee. I'm very good at fleeing. You might say it's one of our character's primary skill sets. Ooh, very appropriately spooky. Ghoulwatch tolerates the living, but here in its smaller satellite village they're much more suspicious. If you living folk love being alive so much, they ask, how come you all end up dead? That's a damn good point. Most of the ghouls here live in their graves, and stir only with reluctance. The quiet is infrequently shattered by someone yelling muffled obscenities at earthworms. That makes sense. Let's gather the news. The residents of Gravespite stubbornly insist on staying in their coffins. The human caretakers complain of verbal abuse through the speaking tubes. Business as usual in Gravespite. When there is no room below, the residents will rise from their graves, probably to emigrate. They like to insist they're too dead to talk, but most of them are lying. Yeah, this is maybe a little bit rude, but let's knock. Bugger off, hollers the voice from below, a rotted hand thrust through the soil, middle finger extended. Fair enough. Gravespite is intensely hostile to lung-breathing, running-blooded warm bodies like yourself. I'm getting that. I am starting to perceive that. Well, let's spend some time with a pet, and then I don't think I'm going to bother resting and recovering. Our pets will keep us in shape. So do we want to go to Twinflower Rust? I don't even remember what's at Twinflower Rust, but I do know we need to go to Ghoulwatch. I guess the fact that I don't remember what's at Twinflower Rust is maybe a good reason to go there. Let's go to Ghoulwatch first, and then we'll do this on the way to Bodok's Gaze, which we definitely want to go to. We're starting to figure it out, man. And our esoterica's only getting better. Ooh, hey, that's a type of zone we've not seen before. A stolen tomb. A tomb snatched from another world. There's still grave dirt heaped beneath the headstones. A skeletal hand pokes up through the ancient soil, and we just take it without even thinking about it. Is that a good idea? I don't think so. But now that we've already disturbed the grave, I guess there's no harm in some additional grave digging. You crawl into a stone cenotaph and find a beautiful jeweled reliquary. The finger bones inside are scrimshawed. A single phrase repeated dozens of times in an unknown language. Okay, we found something beautiful. That might be a good thing to put in our museum. And hey, look at that. We're still discovering new stuff. I wonder how many more hours of main story is left. I suppose. I'm just thinking, like, this has turned out to be a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. Not that, like, there's anything about this style of game that can't be long, but I don't know. I had picked up an impression somewhere that this was a more of a bite-size experience. Perhaps that was just wrong, but also, I'm definitely not, like, putting a lot of effort into rushing the main story along or anything. We're taking it pretty slowly. Alright, back to Ghoulwatch. Let's take Spire on a search for Icon, the seventh city of gods. Ghoulwatch envelops you in its bleak stone embrace. Spire walks by your side, third eye shimmering purple, normal eyes closed. The gods raised the dead to fight in their war, he says. We never suspected the dead would outlive us. You are here to find Icon, a city that took the form of a man. But Ghoulwatch has hundreds of thousands of citizens, living and dead. Well, we could just ask everyone we see. Doesn't seem like a great plan. We could track down secret brokers and gossip mongers. I think we have the guineas to spare for this better chance of success. The secret brokers take your money and give you nothing in return. Abandon this mad ambition, mutters one of them. Icon will leave nothing of you but ashes. Okay, so it's just throwing my money away. Thanks for that. You know what? Maybe I just need to do more research. We'll start at the Crypt Library of the Gallows Minister. Of course. Why didn't I think... Oh, well, that's a shame. Every book that mentions Icon in the index has had all relevant passages torn out, or redacted with blocks of black ink, or singed beyond comprehension. You've been asking too many questions, and the Ghoul-Goyles are passing on whispers about you. You'll have to come back later. Okay, so next time we're here, I guess we'll have another shot at that. Spire's possession fades, and he collapses on the way back to the kinetipede. The eye is impatient, he tells you later, when he is woken up. It will not rest until it has seen Icon. We will have to come back and try again. Alright, we'll do that. That's very good. Wait, can I just try it again? I can just try it again right now. Well, never mind. Let's start with the Esoterica. And then... I wonder if it's actually... Okay, yeah, it is actually re-rolling. Well, that seems like it's probably broken. You're probably not supposed to be able to just do that over and over till it works. Every book with Icon in the index has had all relevant passages burned, torn out, etc. It requires some ingenuity to find what you need. By shining a light through one of the ink-blocked pages, you can read the passages that were so painstakingly blacked out. Icon is the true name of the 9th Minister, you read. He dwells in the ashes of the cremated district, in the charcoal church of a forgotten god. No visitor or petitioner has ever returned. He sees no one, and speaks to no one. Spire glances up as you read that last line. Well, he'll talk to me. Okay, you seem pretty sure. Visiting the cremated district is almost a rite of passage for spirited Ghoul-Watch teenagers willing to scare themselves. Such a visit can be an education, especially for those who didn't know stone can burn. Every granite building here has melted and hardened into a bizarre whirling lump. There were wooden buildings here too, now reduced to charcoal and blackened ribs. You walk with Spire through a quarter-mile of silent, blasted ruin, every footfall erupting a cloud of ash. Finally, you arrive at the burned church where Icon dwells. "Icon!" calls Spire, clapping his hands to his mouth. "Spire has come and would speak with you." Yeah, I'll be behind this pillar. This is not an act of cowardice. I'm trying to hide our numbers. I'm maintaining a tactical advantage. Icon emerges slowly from the cremated church, not from the door, but through the charred ribs of its ceiling, crawling like a spider. It is a burning city in the shape of a man. Its shoulders erupt with steeples blazing like candles. Its limbs are columns of smoke, its back 1,000 flaming, crumbling rooftops. Its head is half collapsed, a slag of molten iron and stone. Its eyes 2 mad, dark voids. "Spire," says Icon, and its voice is the roar of Inferno, the screams of the dying. "I wondered if you would come. We will burn together, a glorious harmony singing the end of every world." The violet glow in Spire's third eye fades. The city spirit has fled, leaving him nervous and human and paralyzed with fear. Icon swells like a balloon of smoke, roaring, singing. Well, of course I'm not just gonna abandon him here. An avalanche of burning rubble pursues you, a vast crashing debris snake that moves like a steam train, but it's faster, oh so much faster, and Spire is useless and limp in your grip, and slipping. You adjust your grasp and heft Spire over your shoulder, outpacing your hunter. When you look back, Icon has settled into cold smoking ruin, retreating slowly to its church. Okay, another horrifying ordeal. This time I think the words may be a little bit more appropriately applied. Spire has fainted. You bend double, wheeze the smoke and cinders from your lungs, and make your way back to the kinetipede. No big deal, let's just pick up some news. Let's have a normal day, aside from that. A perfect blue tulip has grown in the gardens of the Sublime, amid much speculation. The Bright Minister faces accusations of unethical dealings with the Ragged Emperor, in defiance of trade sanctions. Let's wander the streets a bit. Okay, we have a basic droll experience. Do we want to sell anything to the Silent Minister? Selling a hideous revelation does get us more deiform scab matter. Oh, I'm going to sell him a glimpse of another world. We don't have a fetch mirror right now, and I think it's probably a good idea to do that. Ghosts bring you the minister's tribute. She gestures you to eat of her maggot-ridden banquet, should you desire. No, I'm good. Thank you, though. That's very, I mean, it's very kind of you. Hideous Revelations. How many do we have? Because I think we only need one at the moment. Is this a concerns thing? No, wait, hold on. Information. We have 3. Hold on, let me look at the log real quick here. Here we go. We might not need any anymore. I might have done the thing I needed to do with these. Okay. Can I do this more than once? Because we don't have Hideous Revelations all the time, but they're not that rare. Again, we're offered the opportunity to feast, and I elect not to. I'm good, thank you. So, this is a way that we could get to 7 Deiform Scab Matter. I suppose I'm going to hold on to 1 Hideous Revelation. I guess I shouldn't be doing that, because we don't need to be carrying around the Scab Matter. The Revelations themselves are weightless. Yeah, it's definitely like a bad decision on my part. We are... How heavy? We're 3 heavy? We can just drop old bones, that's fine. Okay, yeah, I'll hold on to those. It's good to have a fetch mirror, just in case. I think we can probably stop selling stuff. Let's definitely repair the hull. And then I think we're good here, probably. You know, you're never too good to cuddle a rhinoceros, obviously. Out and to the east. Always into the east. Okay, we found some stuff I don't actually care about. Let's drop all of the old bones, and then we're going to have to drop something else too. To be perfectly honest with you, we probably don't need all of these indecipherable tomes. It's a lot of, effectively, paper waste that we're carrying around, right? If we can't even tell what they say. So, 5224. Let's cut it down for lumber and immediately throw the lumber in the engine. That very expensive armor that we saw in Carapace was 6,500. I mean, we're definitely getting to a place where we could buy it. Got a hunting vision. That's fine, I guess. But I'm wondering if we're trying to put together the Deiform Scab Matter, that's for a hull upgrade, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Who knows? Who knows why I think anything is anything? Okay, we'll burn some of that right now. Okay. Yeah, we might hold off. We know a thing that we can spend a bunch of money on that will definitely have some value, right? I'm just going to burn another lumber. It sure would be nice to get even faster legs. Share news from the city. Ooh, scandalous gossip. Is that a thing we can sell to information brokers? I'm not sure that it is, actually. These guys don't look like they're after us. No, okay, farewell. And hey, we made it. Twinflower Rust, it's a Mycenae village. That's right, I remember this now. The Elder welcomes you. The villagers have gathered in a great crowd to sit around the fire and listen to the Elder tell old Mycenae legends. It's an old story, you can tell. The Elder slips into an archaic dialect as it recites the words. It's a story from after the War of the Gods, when the human civilizations were in disarray. It's a story of how Mycenae ruled the house from Chaga, extending help and patronage to the struggling humans, and how they were betrayed. Okay, cultural knowledge and a forgotten legend. Definitely things worth having. And then, of course, an opportunity to cuddle the rhino. Alright, it's south, right? I think we're going to go to Bodok's Gaze and stop there. Partially because that means we'll get 2 opportunities to decode the eyes. Because at this point, yeah, I'm taking advantage of the mechanics, you know? Now that we know that it's a thing we can do reliably. No, absolutely not. What kind of church can't even maneuver around a giant mushroom? It's just embarrassing is what it is. I'm not 100% sure what I think we're going to get from successfully decoding the pattern of eyes at Bodok's gaze. Maybe another hint about the City of Glass or something? We have like 2 clues? My guess is we probably need... If it's as simple as just find enough clues and you find out where the City of Glass is, my guess is we need 3 or 5 or 7. Because, you know, video game logic. Hopefully it's 3, and we just need to find 1 more. Whoa, hey, that's a pretty strange thing what just happened there. Let's just smash this statue right here. We used a little bit of sanity. Boy, that was a maneuver they pulled, sneaking up on us while time was paused there. Alright, we are pretty good at Esoterica now. You start to get a sense. You decode 2 words that are used repeatedly. Pain and end. Boy, I wish I could say that was a big surprise. The rest remains indecipherable gibberish. A moment of melancholy. It's a very melancholy feeling, just staring up at these eyes, and them just staring back. You've almost got an alphabet. Just need to eliminate some odd outliers. You always just need more data. And then I guess we may as well just cuddle the rhino one more time before we stop for the day. Alright, I think that is where we are going to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Some things about the city, about the house's history, are starting to become a little clearer. But I don't know how helpful that is. I mean, we know we have a couple of goals that seem like they might lead to endings, right? Escape from the house or blow the house up. I kind of hope we can figure out a way to do both at the same time, so we'll just keep pursuing both of those quests as best we can for right now. Obviously, we need some keys pretty badly to figure out the one, though. When you come back next time, tomorrow, perhaps we will find one. I wouldn't expect it. And we'll see you then.